Hi ladies and gentlemen, this is Ms. Cook and we're going to kick off section 7.2 with this set of notes. Let's get started reading. If we take a sample of Reese's Pieces, what proportion of the candies will be orange? Reese's Pieces come in three colors, yellow, orange, and brown, and so we're discussing proportions, which you can think of as a percentage or a fraction of the total. Suppose a large bag of Reese's Pieces has 1,000 pieces. They just gave us the size of the population. The manufacturer says that exactly 40% of the candies are orange. They just gave us the population proportion. If we select a sample of 50 pieces, okay, they just gave us the sample size, how many will be orange? And then we're going to define a random variable x to be the number of orange candies in the sample. Question number 1 says, what type of probability distribution does our random variable x have? Justify. So we need to figure that out, and we start thinking about the probability distributions that we've learned about recently, specifically binomial and geometric. And of course, we learned about normal early in the year. Definitely this is not normal. We have no indication of that. It doesn't say it anywhere in the question. And so we can try to determine if it's binomial or if it's geometric. It does happen to have a fixed sample size, so let's test out binomial. The first thing, if you remember, we're looking at our bins, and the first thing that we need to consider is this a binary type of situation where we have two possible outcomes, and it is. Specifically, a Reese's piece is either orange or not orange. Let's go to I for independence. We're selecting 50 at a time in our sample, so technically we're not sampling with replacement. We're not throwing each one by one back in. We're selecting 50 at a time. However, we know that we can check the 10% rule, and it does meet the 10% rule, so it does satisfy the I condition. The next condition that we're going to check is N for the fixed sample size, and we already said we do have a fixed sample size, and it is 50. They told us that in the question. And then the last one is S for a same or consistent probability for each possible sample, and that is true. We have a 40% chance all the time, so P, our probability of success, is going to be equal to 0.4 or 0.40. Okay, done with number 1. Let's take a look at number 2. Draw a sample of 50 Reese's Pieces using the applet. How many pieces were orange? Repeat this 5 times and write the values below. So here is the URL for you to go to for the Reese's Pieces applet. And when you get there, the parameters that you're going to put in are exactly what we've been talking about. You're going to select a probability of 40. You're going to select a sample size of 50, and then you can run one sample at a time. Do it 5 times, and then you can write the values for number 2. After that, you're going to run another maybe 995 samples so that you can have a total of 1,000 samples. And it's going to actually draw the distribution for you of all of those 1,000 samples of size 50. And at that point, you are going to take a screenshot of it and add it to your notes on number 3. Okay, so I'm going to go run my applet, and I'll be back in a minute with my 5 counts of how many were orange in my sample of 50. See you back here in a minute. So out of 5 samples, I got a 19, a 21, and 3 22s of pieces that were orange out of the sample size of 50, and this was using the applet. Let's move on to number 3. What I'm going to do is if we were doing this in class, of course, everybody would run their 5 times. We would put all of our numbers on the graph, and then we would all draw or take a picture of the class dot plot. But since we're working on this independently, you can go back to the applet and run the other 995 samples so that you have a total of 1,000, and then take a screenshot of the dot plot and put it on number 3 below. Here's my dot plot, and I've also titled it Approximate Sampling Distribution of our Random Variable X. Now, what does each dot represent? We remember that each dot represents the number of orange candies from a sample, from one of our samples of 50. The next question, number 5, asks us for the mean and the standard deviation for the distribution of our random variable x, and we need to show our work. And just as a reminder, this is a binomial distribution, or technically it's not, but we can treat it as binomial because it passes that 10% rule. So we're going to use the binomial formulas for mean and for standard deviation. That means mu is equal to NP, and remember this is of the mu of random variable x. So n is 50 times p of 0.4, and we have an expected value or mean of 20 pieces of candy. The standard deviation of random variable x, we're again going to use the formula directly from the formula sheet, and it's n times p times 1 minus p. We're showing our work, which means we're plugging everything in and showing the substitution. And so we have a standard deviation for our random variable of 3.464, again, candy pieces. Okay, let's move on to number 6. It's asking, what is the approximate shape of the sampling distribution for random variable x? Explain and sketch it below. This question is a little bit of a throwback to chapter 6, and we have our approximate sampling distribution that we got from our applet samples, and we can see that it is approximately symmetric and unimodal, and it actually has a little bit of a flavor of a normal curve. So what we're going to do, so that we can know how to describe it, if we just describe it as unimodal and symmetric, or whether we can describe it as approximately normal, we're going to check the large counts condition. And the large counts condition tests NP has to be greater than or equal to 10, and n times 1 minus p also has to be greater than or equal to 10. Now, we just did NP in number 5, finding the mean, so we know that NP is equal to 20 pieces. And that, of course, is greater than or equal to 10, so it checks out. The n times 1 minus p actually gives us 30, which, of course, is also greater than 10. So this now we can describe as approximately normal. So I'm going to sketch an approximately normal distribution. And remember, a normal distribution is always defined by the parameters, which, of course, are the mean, in our case 20, and the standard deviation, in our case 3.464. Now we're ready to move on to question number 7, which is on the next page. We took a look at the counts of orange from each of our samples of 50. Now let's take a look at the proportions of orange. So in number 7, it says use your samples from number 2, question number 2, and turn each of those numbers of orange candies into a proportion of orange candies from the sample. Write the proportions below, and instead of adding them to the dot plot on the board, obviously we're doing this remotely, we're going to convert our applet distribution into proportions. So let's start out by writing down our proportions for each of the samples. Pause the video now and write yours in under number 7. Here are my proportions. You should have yours on your notes. And next is to copy in or take a screenshot of the dot plot. So see you back in a minute with your dot plot, and I will have mine. And this dot plot is the approximate sampling distribution of the sample proportion, which of course the symbol for that is p hat. Now when we consider what each dot represents, this time it represents the proportion of orange candies from a sample of 50. Let's move on to number 10 now. So what we're going to do is find the new mean and the standard deviation of the distribution, which, by the way, looks a lot like the distribution that we had on the previous page where we were looking at counts, even though now we're looking at proportions. Shape is the same. Okay, so we're going to find the mean of the sampling distribution of the sample proportions, or mu sub p hat, and we know the way to do that is to find the count over the count of the oranges over the total count, and that brings us to our proportion of 40. Let's now do the standard deviation, so that's going to be sigma sub p hat, and remember that we're treating this as binomial, so it's going to be the n times p times 1 minus p. However, and that's going to be 50 and 0.4 and 0.6. However, because we're finding the proportion and not the count, we have to divide by 50. Okay, so that gives us 0.069. On our formula sheet, we will find the formula for the mean of the sampling distribution of sample proportions, mu sub p hat, as equal to p, which is our population proportion. And for the standard deviation, it's basically what we have written here, but we're going to rearrange just a teeny bit to make it a little bit more compact. And so that's going to be p times 1 minus p over n, the whole thing under the square root. And if you rearrange our blue one a little bit, you see that we end up with the red one. Okay, let's take a look now at question number 11. Now, if you remember on the previous page, we checked the NP greater than or equal to 10 and N1 minus P greater than or equal to 10 large counts condition. And we had 20 successes and 30 failures, so to speak. So that was met. So again, we know that we're going to be able to say that we've got an approximately normal distribution. This time, the mean, the way that it's defined, is going to be our proportion, and our standard deviation is the one that we just calculated on question number 10. So we've got our large counts condition met and our normal distribution defined. Question number 12 reads, we know that bags of Reese's Pieces contain exactly 40% that are orange. If we select a random sample of 50 candies, what is the probability that the sample proportion will be 45% or greater? Well, guess what? We're back in the sketch and shade business with a normal distribution. So we're going to draw our normal distribution and we're going to shade in from the 50% that we're interested in. And there we go. There's our 0.50. And then we're going to show the calculation of the z-score, but the z-score is going to look a teeny bit different than it did previously, and the reason is because we're working with proportions. So in the past, we used a z-score equal to x minus mu over sigma, and for proportions, it's again going to be the statistic minus the parameter over the standard deviation. So our example is the number that we're interested in is 50%. Our mean of the distribution, or our population proportion, is 40%. And the standard deviation that we found was 0.69. So let's find the z-score. And once we have the z-score, we could either use table A or we can use normal CDF to come up with the probability associated with that right-hand shading. And either way you do it, you end up with a probability of 0.074. So the probability that a sample proportion will be 50% or greater is about 7.4%. And in case you wanted to kind of see the full thing, what we really did to find that z-score was p hat minus p over the square root of p times 1 minus p over n. And that's kind of just plugging in that standard deviation formula so that you can see it all together. Okay, anyhow, it is time for us to look at our important information on our next page. To start with, we're going to write down the mean and the standard deviation formulas for the sampling distribution of sample proportions. The next thing that we're going to write down in our box of important information is the normal or large counts condition. And last of all, we're going to write down how to find the probability of a sampling distribution if the distribution of p hat is approximately normal. So we're going to be using the z-scores, and we're going to sketch and shade. Okay, so make sure you have all of the important information written down in your box, and then I'm going to have you pause the lesson video and work on the check for understanding. Turn it back on when you're ready to check your work. So I'll see you back in a few minutes.